Yo, what is up guys, Grim here, and in today's video we're here to answer one simple question. Is traditional mapping still worth your time? Do you have to be doing crazy split blueprints or fractured delirium maps to make currency in PoE? Well, I set out to find the answer to that, and I decided to throw in a bit of science, which we'll get to at the end of the video. But if you're curious, can you still make money off normal mapping? Absolutely you can. It's one of the most lucrative things you can do in the game right now, given the game's economy. The thing is though, you need to make sure you're doing it with a bit of spice. Now, we'll get into what that spice is, but first, let me hit you with some numbers. So we'll just jump over here into an Excel, and we'll cover off the expenses. So, expenses, what did we do? What was the test? We did 100 T14 strands. So I bought these for 4C each in bulk, just off the trade website. Anyone can do it. And why did I choose strands? Strands are a pretty fast map. It's a pretty open map, and people just had a lot of bulk of it. It's a pretty cool map. So I decided to go with strand. It's absolutely not the best map you could run, but you know, I decided to go for it, and that's the one we picked. Next up, what else was I doing? I was using Rusted Legion and Rusted Metamorph Scarabs. What initially spun this test up was I wanted to know how much money you could get back in raw league specific currencies from each of these scarabs. The question was, will you just straight up pay for the scarab just from guaranteed drops that you'll get from them? So for example, for Legion, would you be able to pay off the cost of the entire scarab just from the splinters and incubators alone? And for the metamorphs, you're guaranteed to get at least one set of catalyst rewards per metamorph. Would you be able to pay off the scarab just from the catalyst rewards? That was the question, and we have the answer, but those were the two scarabs I was using. In addition to that, due to the current prices of Awakened Sextants, I was using Awakened Sextants as well on this set of 100 maps. I ended up doing 195 Awakened Sextants, costing about 195C, so pretty cool there. I also used 400 chisels, which came to about 13C, which is very, very low indeed. And I also used 100 alchemies. I didn't vial any of the maps because I didn't want to kind of mess with the results or have to worry about that. So yeah, just alchemy and chiseling, no worries with the vials at all. But if you wanted to push this further, you could indeed go for those vial orbs. So, how much did we make? Well, the final figure, when we check everything out in Excellence, and we pull all of the non-liquid stuff out, is actually 2,698 chaos raw value. So if you take away my expenses here, we made 1,573 chaos in profit. Now, all of this stuff is fairly easy to sell. The hardest thing to sell here will be the incubators, stuff like Geomancers, Time Lost, Foreboding, etc. I have included stuff like Mysterious Incubators, but in my opinion, they do sell, and if they don't, you can use them yourself to extract the value out of them. Now, let's quickly just take a quick look. Things that weren't included were stuff like uniques. Pretty much no uniques were included except for the beachhead here. Pretty much everything is raw currency. Now, I have included maps in this because you can use Horizon Orbs to put them into a layout that people want to bulk buy. And also, if you are more optimized than me, you could set up your atlas with favorites to get stuff like beaches, strands, and cemeteries, which sell in bulk fairly well as well for a decent amount of currency. So you could absolutely easily sell all the maps that you drop, and they will be a really big money earner for you, as you can see here. So very, very interesting indeed. Anyway, the underlying point here is that you can make an absolutely insane amount of currency in normal mapping. Now, of course, I'm playing a fairly fast character, but how long could you expect it would take to run 100 maps? So could you do 25 maps in an hour? So it's a bit over 2 minutes per map. I think if you're doing a fast layout, most players should be able to do this, but let's just say it took you 6 hours. So how many minutes is that? So that's 60 minutes. Times the good old 6. That's 360 minutes divided by 100. Could you do a map in 3.6 minutes? I think most people could at this point do that. Now, could you break out the full Legion? You would need a build to break out a complete Legion, but most explosion-based builds, I'm talking about the Exploded Chest, can do that these days. And if you're not running an Exploded build, maybe that's something that you should look into if you're looking to do a mapping strategy, as Legion, as you guys will come to understand, is an absolutely insane moneymaker for your maps. So, 3.6 minutes per map. if we assume that you would take 6 hours to finish all of these 100 maps, which I think is a fairly fair assessment, then you would make 1,573 divided by 6, divided by, I think it's 62 right now. You'd make 4.2x an hour. That's pretty good in my opinion. Of course, this isn't including selling time, but you know, that is what it is. It's probably going to take you a bit of time afterwards, but I think 6 hours is a fairly generous estimate anyway for running 100 maps. So pretty cool in my opinion. Now, that's a pretty good exalt per hour ratio. You know, if you are looking at making a headhunter, how much is that divided by 4.3? You could get a headhunter in 16 hours. So you could get it in like a week of playing casually as a normal player. That's pretty cool, dude. So definitely very cool. This is very lucrative. But what I really wanted to focus here in this video is not necessarily how much you could make on maps, but I wanted to start introducing the idea of min-maxing scarabs and really understanding exactly how much you can expect to make off them guaranteed. So the point here is that we did a test and we've got the results. So off of Legion scarabs, we did 100 of them, but in fact, due to our sections, we got 124 of them in our maps. So we have a sample size of 124 legions in terms of incubators and splinters. Now I made sure that there was no other splinters coming from any other source apart from Legion, and no other incubators coming from any other source either. So from 124 legions in Strand, I made 400 C straight up. Now, a Legion Scarab costs 4C for a rusted one. So, just off of the splinters and incubators alone, I made back most of the actual cost of the Scarab. Now, I don't think these things are incredibly difficult to sell, but let's just say you didn't want anything to do with the kind of lower tier incubators, and we removed them. So we'll just go down here. I think Time Lost, Thaumaturgy, and Geomancers are very easy to sell, so we'll just keep them in there. But if we removed everything else, how much would you expect to make? You'd still make 2.5C on average per map per Scarab. So the majority of the Scarab is just paid back in super liquid stuff that you can flog in a matter of minutes. People will buy those emblems very quickly off you, and it's going to be completely insane. So that's pretty cool. You basically should be running a Legion Scarab if you can break out the entire Legion on any semi-open layout that you can get your hands on. So stuff like Ashenwood Beach, Cemetery, you know, any kind of map like that is going to be great for Legion, and it's going to earn you a ton of money. Now, the cool thing about this is with this information, we can actually go back and whenever we're doing a league, like a new league comes out, or we're at any point in the economy, we can now understand how much we'll make from Legion Scarabs. So at the start of the league, I think you guys will probably remember, the white and the orange and red emblems were worth significantly more. Now, they were worth about 40C for the white and the orange ones at the start of the league. So if I was to just mess the numbers around here to put it at league start prices, and the green one was worth 100C, and I think the Marrakech one was worth around 150, you'll see that with this information, now we're armed with quite a powerful tool. We can see that Legion Scarabs at the start of the league, if you're buying them at even 7 Chaos, are going to make you a truckload of money. Because the thing is with Legion is it doesn't just drop splinters and incubators. It drops maps, it drops like high-end currencies, it drops everything pretty much you can expect in the game. And at the league start, you can get tons of maps, you can get tons of everything. So Legion is actually absolutely insane. And with this information, you guys are going to be able to go back to league starts and like kind of punch this information in and be like, damn, right now I should be running Legion. This is going to make me insane money. And you know what I'm going to be doing? I'm going to be doing the same thing. I'm going to be going back to that league start in one like next league when the league comes out. And if I determine that Legion Scarabs are insane to use, you better believe I'm going to be using them. So let's push it further though. Let's take a look at Metamorph. Infamously, one of the most exalt-rich league mechanics we've had right behind Legion. This thing seems to just reward tons of tier 1 currencies. And a bit of anecdotal evidence, I got 2 exalts from my Metamorphs in this test. And I only got 4 exalts. One of them was from Legion, 2 of them were from Metamorph. So pretty interesting there. I also got a ton of other stuff like maps, you know, we got a beachhead off it, we got, you know, divines, annulments, and just tons of currency in general. Now, here's what we really want to see though. Let's take a look at these catalysts. So catalysts right now are as low as I've ever seen them, due to the fact that you can get an absolute ton of them from the league mechanic, which is Heist. Now, even with these absolutely crazy, unprecedented low prices of catalysts, we're actually making almost double our money back off of these rusted Metamorph Scarabs. Now, Metamorph's a funny one because as long as you clear the map, you're going to be able to use the Metamorph and slay it and kind of get the loot from it. So it's basically guaranteed loot at the end of the map. And it really doesn't take too much time as long as your build is at a point where you can slay them quickly to get this loot out of the map either. So, the funny thing is, just off of the catalyst alone, we have paid for the Scarab. Now, of course, you get so much other stuff from these things. You know, you get the organs, which you can go take to Tane's lab, which we got 100 of. You know, I'm sure we'll get some cool stuff from them. Those are not included here. You get like all the raw currency, all that kind of stuff like that. But the point is, if you take the League start prices similarly to Legion, which were actually incredibly very, very high, it was like 7C per fertile catalyst. Like if we put that in here, you can see that we're starting to get a lot more money. It's very worth it to run these. And with this information, we're going to be able to pick and choose when the best time to run Metamorph is. And you can kind of see a pattern here is Scarabs are absolutely insane for amping up your map profits. And what we're actually going to do in future content is we're going to run every Scarab 100 times and we're going to extract all of that League specific data out of it and slap it in a spreadsheet, so you guys are going to know exactly how worth it is to run every Scarab at every point in time at any league. Now, that's pretty crazy, isn't it? And just for a little bit more information, this is at a T14 baseline, so this is minimum. As soon as you get that Awakener 8 Atlas online, you can expect to make this amount of money from these Scarabs or more if you're doing higher tiers, as I believe that does increase the rewards from them. So that's been the video, guys. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed. The point is here, you should be using Scarabs. At least use Rusted Legion and Metamorph. You can kind of see here how much you should be expecting to pay. Would you take a full Legion worth of loot for 2C? Absolutely you would. Would you take a Metamorph for free? Yes, you would. You know, so that's actually kind of crazy. Hope you guys have enjoyed this short mapping video update. Normal mapping is insane. If you got a good mapping character, you can expect to make a ton of exalts per hour. As always, nothing's changed. It just takes a little bit of know-how and a little bit of knowledge about what the best Scarabs to run are. And oh boy, do we have that information coming. So stay tuned to the channel, and I'll see you guys on stream or in the next one. Cheers.